her best house!
First, let's state that we are not professional Harry Potter professors, teachers, mentors.
No, none of it.
None of it.
None of it.
We know a good amount about this franchise and the series, and we're going to see how this goes. During their introduction to Hogwarts, the students sit down, the hat sits on their head and says, I can read your brains. I think you're in this house.
It's like a really complicated BuzzFeed quiz with lifelong repercussions.
So the sorting hat sits down and sorts you into one of the 4 houses.
Your entire life is determined by your personality at age 11. If this is true, the Beast from Beauty and the Beast is screwed.
Gryffindor is first. Why is it first? Because it's up there.
It is first alphabetically.
Gryffindor's animal is a lion.
Their colors are maroon and gold, sometimes red. It depends on your merchandise.
Character traits that make up a Gryffindor are courage,
Nerve,
bravery,
chivalry,
and rawness.
Who's their headmistress?
Professor Minerva McGonagall.
And I love her.
Their house ghost is nearly headless Nick. He nearly lost his head and then died.
How can you be nearly headless?
Like this.
Well, like that.
The head just didn't go off all the way.
Some of the most well-known people to come out of the Gryffindor house include the Potters. All of them.
The Weasleys.
All of them. Hermione, just one Granger, Neville Longbottom. Favorite Gryffindor, who would it be?
Ginny Weasley. She knows what she wants. She goes for it. She's been through a lot of crap. People tend to forget just how much she went through, particularly in book 2.
I like Seamus. He explodes stuff a lot, and he just doesn't give up.
In the films, he's got one of the best accents.
My dad's a muggle. Mum's a witch. Bit of a nasty shock for him when he found out.
Hufflepuff!
Hufflepuff!
I don't know who they are.
In the house!
Hufflepuff's animal is represented by a thing that nobody except really the Hufflepuff seems to actually know what it is.
A badger! Hufflepuffs have a lot of patience!
They have a lot of justice leaguing. They're very Wonder Woman-y.
Justice Leaguing? I'll take Wonder Woman for Hufflepuff. Loyal. Diligent. The better word there is diligent. Pottermore, get your life together and learn some new vocabulary words.
Head of Hufflepuff House is
Professor Sprout. And the house ghost is the Fat Friar.
famous Hufflepuffs include
Nymphadora Tonks.
Newt Scamander. I feel like there's one that we're missing. Some
Hannah
guy-
Abbott.
No, I don't.
She's the one Neville ends up with.
I know. No, that's not who I was thinking of. There's one that didn't one die at one point. Like that Cedric guy, Cedric Diggory. Oh, that guy. Yep. I didn't. I was just playing. She actually forgot. Ravenclaw is next. Ravenclaw's animal is a bird.
It's not a raven, because that would make too much sense. It's an eagle.
The house colors are blue. It could be gray, it could be gold. It's blue. Blue. Ravenclaw values include intelligence,
Creativity
learning.
and wit.
Professor Phileas Flitwick is the head of Ravenclaw House. He's also the charms professor and the head of the Hogwarts choir because he's versatile.
And had a complete makeover in the films between year 1 and year 2.
Yeah, I don't quite understand what that was about.
Who's your ghost?
Grey Lady. Famous Ravenclaw people that we have all become familiar with include Professor Quirrell,
Professor Lockhart.
Cho Chang,
Luna Lovegood.
Sybil Trelawney. Last house is Slytherin, alphabetically. Some might claim that they are first house. In Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Philosopher's Stone, the Sorting Hat tries to put Harry into Slytherin, and Harry's like, nah, I don't want that. I don't know
He
where.
picked up a prejudice against Slytherins within, like,
5 seconds.
12 hours? Like, from when he got on the train to when he got there. Because they say it's, what, an 8-hour train ride? So like, factor in a little bit of time, like...
Well, he had, from the movies, he had no idea what the houses were until right before the doors open. Their animal mascot is a snake. The Slytherin colors are green.
And silver.
Slytherins value ambition,
Cunning.
leadership,
And resourcefulness.
The Slytherin's head of house is Severus Snape. The ghost is the Bloody Baron.
I think he's the ghost we hear the least about. Because, like, they have discussions with the Fat Friar, like, once or twice. Harry has an entire conversation with the Grey Lady at the end of book 7, and obviously there's several conversations with Nearly Headless Nick. The Bloody Baron just kind of screams.
Famous wizards that were in Slytherin House include Severus Snape,
Both Lucius and Draco Malfoy. I'm assuming Narcissa Malfoy, too.
Crabbe and Goyle, Tom Riddle, Horace Slughorn. Miss Rowling claims that Merlin was also in Slytherin House. I think it all depends on what version.
I think she just needed to put, like, the biggest name possible in that house to be like, look, they're not all bad! So personally, I am a Hufflepuff. I grew up in a well-balanced environment, by which I mean my little sister is a Slytherin. My dad is definitely a Gryffindor. There's a huge debate between my sister and I whether my mom is a Hufflepuff or a Ravenclaw, and my vote is 100% for Ravenclaw.
I had friends coming in and their son was really excited about going to Harry Potter and all that stuff, so I said I should probably figure out what actual house I'm in before I start running around this place with them. So I said I should go into Pottermore and figure out what house I'm in, assuming I was going to be Hufflepuff based on previous experiences and everything. And I got off the quiz and it said Ravenclaw, and I said, oh no, that's wrong, I'm gonna have to take this again. So after taking it 7 times and then getting Ravenclaw every single time, I went, oh, there it is, okay, yep.
So as you're getting to know people, especially younger people now, and you say, like, what's your name, what do you do, what Hogwarts house are you, is generally one of the earlier questions that's being asked. And really, it doesn't even just tell you who they are, it tells you how they see themselves and what they think is important. Because I've met people who have walked in and said, I'm a Hufflepuff, and then, like, 2 months into knowing them, you're like, you are a Gryffindor. Stop lying to yourself. My sister, when she first read the books, thought she was a Gryffindor, and then I pointed out rather delicately that she was, in fact, a Slytherin. And as soon as I put the pieces together, she went, oh, no, you're right, and kind of rolled off on the Slytherin pride train. It tells you a lot about the person and how they view themselves, not necessarily who they are, if that makes sense. Previously, one of those early questions would have been like, what's your sign? Like, what's your star sign? But you have no control over your star sign. It just happens to be like whenever you popped out onto Earth. A Hogwarts house tells you a lot more about somebody. 4 options to choose from kind of streamlines that. I haven't done a ton of research on this. I'm sure that there are other people that have, but I've noticed the parallels between the 4 houses and the 4 like pieces of the British Isles. So if you look at it as Ireland, Scotland, England, and Wales, and you look at particularly like the Gryffindors and the Slytherins are the ones that generally don't get along, and that's going to be your England and your Ireland. They've had a, thousands and thousands of years long feud between them. You've got the Ravenclaws, which I generally associate with Scotland, Wales, Hufflepuff.
Fans have also seen that it is their duty to sort other real people and fictional characters into their Hogwarts houses. You are not a hat. You can't do that. People will talk about Disney characters and Disney princesses and all this stuff. And there'll be just
Wars characters.
Arguments upon arguments about who goes in what house and why is this like Belle likes books. She reads. She's a Ravenclaw. It's not, those don't necessarily line up. It's interesting to see and read and watch how the various houses interact with each other in the books and the films, because you, from an outsider's perspective, just watching or reading for the first time, you get this real sense of like Slytherins just don't have any friends outside of the house, and Gryffindors just all are egotistical and all hang out with themselves, and like you get a little bit of like Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff interaction, but that's like really it.
They're like sprinkled on the side.
But all of the houses would be, they're all in classes together, they all will do things together.
It's also interesting to see how the characteristics of the houses have sort of expanded over time. There's not a lot about Hufflepuffs in the book, and then J.K. Rowling was like, well, they're really my favorite. That did not come across. You've seen them more in pop culture, and there are like celebrities who identify themselves as Hufflepuff, like Eddie Redmayne. Aside from Newt Scamander, like he himself has identified himself as a Hufflepuff. The Rock Johnson, like these people that kind of round out what your expectations are, and that's 100% like independent of the books. Like, it started from that core in the books, but it has continued to expand and take on a life of its own.
Yeah.
I will be very interested to see if you start having people, like down the road, if you start having people who know their Hogwarts house and don't have any Potter knowledge.
Is there a Hogwarts debate team? I don't know, that was just something I
There's not a lot
thought
of other extracurriculars mentioned. When Umbridge bans Quidditch, she bans all extracurriculars, indicating that there are others outside of Quidditch.
Which house is the best?
Hufflepuff.
Incorrect. Some of you may argue that Gryffindor is the best house, or maybe some of you think that Hufflepuffs are the strongest of mind and everything, and some of you may think Ravenclaw's Ka-ka! And then some of you may think Slytherin, you know, they're ambitious. I think all the houses have their good and bad qualities, they're good and bad people, they're all in this together. Once they show, when they stand wand in hand, no house is the best house. It takes 4 houses to make a Hogwarts. You have to have a slice of the raspberry pie, and the blueberry pie, and the lemon meringue pie, and what's green?
Key lime.
Key lime pie. You have to have a slice of all 4 of the pies to make the pretty Hogwarts crest pie.
You know what to do! Like this video!
Share this video.
Subscribe!
The books are long and old. I say this like they're from like 1812.
Ooh, you're gonna make so many people angry. So many people angry.
Well, I'm sorry, I can't keep track of what's as accurate in the books as an author tries to keep changing the information of how these books' outcomes are. God only knows what's real anymore. I don't even know what's real anymore.
That got really, really bitter really fast.
Oh, it's all wet.
Good job. That's what you get for throwing your... Ew, don't touch me. You're famous.